welcome to this businesstraining.com video module on Media Kit Basics. So first, let's go over a definition of Media Kit. According to Wikipedia, a press kit, often referred to as a media kit in business environments, is a prepackaged set of promotional materials of a person, company, or organization distributed to the members of the media for promotional use. These can be created just if you need to have one, to hand out to prospects, to include on your website. But know that a media kit can really be created for a more targeted reason, so for an event or for a specific media coverage request. They are often distributed to announce a release or for a news conference. Some things to remember before creating your kit: define the purpose of the media kit. If you are unaware of the reason for the media kit being created, you may want to take a step back and really see why you need media coverage, what your goals are, and really the strategy behind creating the media kit. After that, you need to identify your targets. As a company already in place and perhaps well on their way because they're creating a media kit, your targets should already be identified in your marketing plans and your PR plans. But here in a media kit, they can either be reiterated or adjusted to create a more niche target or to create a more broad target. Really depends on the goal of the media kit and what you're trying to accomplish. From there, identify the media that will reach your targets. Determine which of those will receive your kit, and consider the importance of each piece of the media kit and also how the media recipient will use the components of the media kit. There's a couple questions that you can ask yourself about each of the things that you'll include in your kit, and that can be: how do you expect the audience of the news that you get to cover your media plans? How do you expect the audience to use that information? What do you anticipate them to do? Do you want them to come to your event? Do you want them to purchase your product? What are your expectations, your anticipations here? How does what you're providing to the news medium convey that expectation? How does your press release say to the audience, we want you to come purchase our product, or we want you to donate to our nonprofit? Figure that out so that you can better convey that information in the first place. And then from there, what do you expect your audiences of the media to do as a result of receiving this information? How do you measure that? This question is significantly different from asking if the news media used your media kit or how much of it was used and when. That can really be covered and measured in the coverage that you get and the amount of press releases that are sent out or returned or that are actually acted upon. That can be measured. It is the audience's response that you need to know to determine if the kit's contents were effective or not. This evaluation is a part of the communication audit, which Larry goes more into in his book here, which is where this is from, the Public Relations Practitioner's Handbook. And really what you want to know is, was my kit effective in reaching my target audience? Sometimes companies may forget that, we got coverage, that's good enough, right? A media kit is meant to create coverage, but it's also meant to reach an end goal. A media kit is merely a tactic used like social media. If you don't know why you're using it, the goal behind it, then there's not much reason to be using it in the first place. So really figure out what you're trying to do with the media kit, and also figure out how to measure the success. Were your sales increased? Was attendance increased for a specific event that you were advertising or looking for press coverage on? Figure that out so that you can really see if your press and your media kit was effective. So what to include in your media kit, like I sort of mentioned earlier, is that it really relies mostly on what you determine in your steps before creating a media kit. Not all the things here are going to be necessary to include for your kit, so be sure to define what you need and what you anticipate that your media contacts will need and what your audience will need. More may be better than less at times, so media contacts can weed out the more important information if they don't have time to read your entire kit, but there is a fine line between including too much and trying to cover all of your bases. So a media kit can include, but is very much not limited to, the following on your screen here. And I think maybe the most important ones to include are articles and backgrounders, fact sheet, key person bios, and interview questions or interview topics. From there, maybe a little less important are media clippings. A lot of times media clippings can just be a sign of past success, but it may not have any relevance to your current initiatives or current efforts. So really evaluate the importance of each product or each each piece of your media kit, like I talked about earlier, because that's going to really determine if it's included or not. Things like a CD or videos may not be necessary if that's not even a part of your industry, so take the time to look into what should be included. So why use a media kit? Media kits are a quick way to convey information about you and your brand. They're really a self-promotion tool to give out to media, and with, of course, the end goal getting coverage and inclusion from these media outlets. Once created, put your press release online for easy distribution, but remember to continuously update, keep your press releases updated, keep your news clippings updated if that's, of course, something that needs to be included in there. And if there's any changes in key bios or information that you can talk about as a company, change that. Things change internally and even externally. The company changes as well. So figure out a way to keep your media kit up to date so that the public and that the media is also up to date. So that sums up our media kit intro. Thank you for watching this businesstraining.com video. I hope you've enjoyed it. To learn more about the training and certification programs that we offer, please visit our homepage at businesstraining.com.